Hello, my YouTube friends! Did you know that you can actually earn money from your live streams the very first time you live stream? Whether you're monetized by YouTube or whatever platform you decide to stream on, none of that matters. You can monetize the very first time. Not only that, but you can have alerts in your live stream, and you can have different alerts for any scene that you want. And all of this is totally free and really easy to create. Today, I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. We've got a little bit to get to, so you know what? Let's get to it! Now, I do use a couple of plugins that are totally unnecessary in this video, but if you want to check them out for yourself, there will be a link in the description down below, and they're totally free. The alert system that we're going to put in place, along with the tip system, is also totally free, and I'm going to use Stream Elements. Now, personally, I like Stream Elements for the alert system and the payment system just because they make it so easy to set up. There are other ones out there that you can explore in other videos, but that's the one I'm going to use here, and I'm going to show you how to get signed in, and everything is going to be step by step. So you don't have to worry about a thing. Just check the links in the description and you're going to be able to follow right along with me. Let's go ahead and set up our payment system first. So we're going to start out in Stream Elements and set up our tipping system. So if you've never used Stream Elements, you're going to use the Get Started button. And basically it's just going to ask you to sign in to your account for Twitch, YouTube, Trovo, or Twitter. So you can just select which one you have. It's just going to connect to your account just like any other thing would that uses your Google account. If you already have an account, you can just go ahead and log in, and it's the same kind of thing. So it's just going to ask you which account you want to connect to. Bada bing, you're done, you're in. So the location here that we need to go to set up all of our donation stuff would be in Revenue. Now, all of these things are interesting and you can look through them later, but we're going to go into tipping settings. You don't need to have a certain number of subscribers or any limitation for adding tips and donations and that sort of thing. You can do this on your very first live stream. It doesn't matter whether you're monetized on YouTube. None of that matters. You could do this from the very first day. So you're going to go into payment providers. And in payment providers, you're just going to connect your PayPal. It's really that simple. You just select it. You put your PayPal email in there and you connect it. Once you do that, you're literally all set up to receive tips and donations. So you have a page that is automatically set up for you that your folks will go to tip your channel. And you can set up your page settings here for your currency, the minimum amount, the maximum amount, all that kind of stuff. You can select the subscribe to global chargeback protection, and you can set up tipping presets if you like, and you can change them up right here if you like as well. It also creates the page, and you get the opportunity to kind of design it. You've got your page title, you've got your message for your tippers, and then you have some images that you can put in here, and they have the sizes for the images that you might use, tipping page background and tipping page header. So it kind of tells you what it is. You can put a leaderboard on there for your best tippers, and you can show the total amount on the leaderboard. So all of these things are really simple to set up, and that will set up your design page. Your tipping panel setup is right here, so it's going to give you a link. And I'll show you how you would use this link, but let's go ahead and show you what it looks like when someone goes to the link that's in your description or wherever to leave a tip. And here you go, this is what your tipping page is going to look like. Now, I don't have any background in here, and I don't have any header in here, which is exactly what they are looking for when we go to our design right here. That would be the tipping page background and the tipping page header. And as you can see, I don't have either of those things set up, and it works just fine without it. So you can select from a tip amount right here, and you can just go ahead and tip. It's really, really simple. They can also add a message, or they could select other and put in whatever they want. So it makes it really simple. They could put in the message, they could put in their name, and they can just tip right there. And the best part about this is Stream Elements doesn't take anything from this. It goes directly into your PayPal. So essentially you just pay your standard PayPal fees. Normally, if you have Super Chat from YouTube, they take 30%. Well, I can promise you that PayPal takes a lot less than 30%. In fact, I think it's about 3%. So you're basically going to actually get all this money. And you're not going to have to wait either. You're going to get it immediately deposited into your PayPal account. So that is the page that you go to. And you're going to put this in the description for your live streams. And you can use a bot or something like that to maybe put it into the chat every once in a while to remind people that, hey, if you enjoy the stream, you're welcome to tip. Now you have your tip moderation right here, which means that you can moderate the actual text that somebody puts in there. And what I mean by that is if someone wants to leave a message, you can pretty much make sure that it's not full of all kinds of garbage, foul language, and that sort of stuff. So you could turn on your automatic tip message filtering, and you can basically replace bad words with happy words, that sort of stuff, bad words with emotes. You could do all that stuff. You could put your standard profanity protection, and this little button here gives you information about that. Or you could do custom, where you add your own words down here in the box. And then, of course, you could turn on TTS anti-spam. And these little things give you some information about what those are. Or you can enable manual tip approval. So it gives you a little more information about how you can actually do that. So if you want to set it up so that the text that shows up, if you're putting the text directly on your live stream in your screen, if you want to set it up so that you can have a little bit of control over what is actually said, you can go ahead and do that through the tip moderation. Once you have that set up, you're done. You're ready to create your alerts for your live stream and accept tips. It's really that simple. Now, I work really hard to try to create content that I think you're going to enjoy. Sometimes I hit and sometimes I miss. But it's really hard to know for sure. And that's where you can really help me out. If you like this video, do me a favor and leave it a thumbs up. And if it's not your cup of tea, please don't hesitate to give me a thumbs down. If every single person watching this video gave it a thumbs up or a thumbs down right now, I would definitely know whether this is the kind of content that you want to see going forward. So everyone, just right now, thumbs up or thumbs down. Thank you so much for the help. Let's get back to the video. Now we're going to set up our alerts in Stream Elements and add them into OBS. Now that we know how to set up our payment system, what we're going to do is set up our actual alerts that are going to show your audience who's tipping and get them involved and interested, maybe even excited about giving you a donation. So we're going to go into Streaming Tools. We're going to go to Overlays. And you can see that you can create multiple overlays. And I'm going to show you why that's important later. But let's go ahead and create a new overlay. And here you have the opportunity to go ahead and set out the resolution for your specific overlay. And you can even set up a custom one. Now most of us stream in 1080. So I'm going to go ahead and start there. And basically we can zoom out and in right here, but that is your screen right there. That's 1920 by 1080. We're going to go ahead and add a widget, and we want to add alerts, and we're going to add an alert box. And here is our alert box. So this is the location where all of the alerts are going to happen. And you can see we have a subscriber alert, a member alert, a super chat alert, a tip alert, and a purchase alert. And, you know, so you may not have these. If you're not monetized, you're not going to probably have a members alert or a super chat alert. So you could just come over here and uncheck those. If you don't have any merch or anything like that, you can uncheck that. So you're going to have a tip alert and a subscriber alert. And you can modify these by clicking in here, and you can change the video or image. This is just the standard one. You can change the way that the layouts are. So let me show you how this works. We can go and emulate this particular subscriber event. And boom, it shows you the event right here with the text underneath it. I'm going to go ahead and mute this. But we can change the way that the text is by just clicking here. And then when we emulate it, you'll see that the text moves to the side of it. Or this one here where the text will move behind it. And I've never really got this one because the text is never visible. So I've never used this one. If you want the subscriber message to show, you can click this. Now, generally speaking, I don't usually check this because I'll go in here and I'll go to my activity feed. And when I get something that has a message in it, it will be typed in here so I can read that message. And that way I don't have to worry about foul language and that kind of stuff. So if a person leaves foul language or something like that, I can self-edit it while I'm reading it out on stream. So I usually leave my show subscriber message unchecked. Now here you can see how the message is going to turn out, the name of the person, and then subscribe to the channel. So if we go into our tip alert, it works exactly the same way. You can see it has a little bit of a different icon animation. We can change the video or set an image to do this and change the audio and all that kind of stuff. And so down here it shows how it's going to come out too. The name of the person, and then it's going to say tipped, and then it'll have the currency amount right here. We can change the settings of all of this stuff and even set it up to do text to speech if we want. We could change the text settings, which would be the font and all that kind of stuff. So all of those things can be modified in here to change up how it looks. And let's go ahead and do a tip event so you can see. Do a $50 tip event, and there you go. Now we can move this anywhere on the screen so that we can easily set this up so it's going to appear exactly where we want it in our scene. So what we're going to do is we'll just start up here in the top right, and we're going to name this, and let's just call this alert tutorial, and then we're going to go ahead and click save. And all we have to do now is copy the URL right here. So if we bring this into our OBS, we've got a scene right here, and we can click the plus, and we can go into browser, and we'll call this alert, and we're going to click OK. And we're just going to paste that URL right here, and we're going to set the width the same as it is in Stream Elements. So 1920 by 1080. You have to set it the same or it will not produce any visuals. So just keep that in mind. This has to be the same as what it is in Stream Elements. We want to control the video via OBS. So these alerts do contain audio, and if you want to hear that, you've got to click that. And now we'll just click OK. So now we've got the full thing. We can adjust the volume of our alert audio and all that stuff. And what we're going to do is go over here, and we're going to emulate, and we'll emulate a tip event. And then we'll go back over here, and you can see we have audio and we have our tip event. You can see exactly where it's going to be located, which is great because you can move this around your scene any way you want. Let's go ahead and create a quick scene. I'm going to click the plus, and we're going to go with a video capture device, and we'll just call this cam, and we'll click OK and select my camera automatically. We're going to go and use a custom audio device. We're going to select the proper audio that we want here. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and adjust this a little bit to get our microphone somewhat out of the way. And there we go. So now we're all set. We've got this set up exactly the way we want, but you can't have your camera over your alert or you won't see it. So we can move the alert down there. And now when we go ahead and run our alert, let's do a tip event, and we'll come back over here, and you can see right up there it's going to show our alert. And if you don't like how it is, you don't like the text, it doesn't show up, you can always change all of those elements. Let's say we don't want it over here, we want it over here. Well, that's not a problem. We can go right in here. We can take this and move it over here. Click save. We don't have to do anything else. Now we can go ahead and have our tip event. Boom. And we'll just go back in here. And we can see now it's moved over here. It's that simple. So let's say we have different layouts for different scenes. Let's create another scene. We're just going to click the plus here, and we're going to have a scene 2. And I'm going to click the plus, and I'm going to use a source clone, and we'll call this cam clone, and click OK. And I'm just going to select my camera and click OK. And then what I'm going to do is right click here, go to filters. I'm just going to remove the background on this camera. So to do this, I'm going to use the NVIDIA background removal. There are bunches of different ways to do this. I have lots of videos on it. If you want to remove your background and you don't have an NVIDIA card, it's not the end of the world. There are other ways to do it. We're going to shrink it down here. And this would generally be a game scene. So what I would do is add a display capture. And so I'm going to go ahead and select display capture right here. And I'm going to go ahead and just click OK. And I'm going to select the display that I want to capture. Click OK. And we'll fit this to the screen right here. Move it below our cam. And there we go. So now we have a scene. Behind me would be whatever game we're playing. So you're going to kind of want to figure out where all the things are in the game, so that you can easily avoid putting something over that. So now we would add our alert, and all we would do is go to plus, and we'll go to browser, and we can reselect the same alert right there, and it's at the top. So now if we go and we run our test, and we'll do a subscriber event here, and we'll pop over, and we can see our subscriber event is all the way up there. But what if our subscriber event is right over some sort of a UI element? Well, we already know that we've placed those events where we want them in this scene, but we want them in a completely different place in this scene. Well, that's the beautiful thing about how this works. So what we're going to do is we're going to go, and we know this is an alert tutorial, so we're going to go ahead and cancel that. Let's save. And then we're going to go and we're going to go back out here, and we're going to create a new overlay, right? It's going to be 1920 by 1080. We'll click start. We're going to add the same widgets, the same alert box. We don't want this stuff right here. And we're going to move this so that it's not going to block our UI, right? So maybe we'll put it right in the center there, and we're going to go and let's call this alert tutorial 2, right? And we're going to go ahead and save that, and we're going to get our little button right here, right? We're going to copy to the clipboard, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go back in here, and we're going to go ahead and delete this alert, and so we're going to just remove it, and we're going to go ahead and click the plus, and we're going to go into our browser once again, and we'll call this alert 2. So we've specifically designed this for a totally different scene. And same thing, 1920 by 1080, and control audio via OBS. And there we go. So now we've got alert 2 in here. And what we can do is, if we were to take a look at how that works. So now when we go in here and we do our subscriber event, we can see it's right in the middle of the screen. It's not going to cover up any UI, and it's very visible. But if we go back here to our scene, you can see it's still located up here. Let's go ahead and trigger it again, and we'll go to subscriber event, and we're going to go back in here, and you can see that our first alert is still working, and it's exactly where it should be. So now we have our alerts in 2 separate locations depending upon what scene we have. Now you understand how you can easily design your alert system separately for each of your scenes, so you don't have to worry. And you can automatically move these around and just save them in the alert, and they'll be exactly where you want. Super easy to set up. By the way, it's also totally free. So you can have all kinds of different overlay layouts, and you can move the alerts in any way you want. The other thing that this allows you to do is create different alerts for different scenes. So let's say we wanted super simple alerts for our just chatting scene that might just be exactly like the default ones. But we wanted to create game-specific alerts that were going to be much fancier and have the look or some sort of features that represent the game we're playing. Well, we could easily change up those alerts and create our own little video clips and that sort of stuff and use those for our game alerts. This allows you to have completely different alerts depending upon which scene you're actually on. Super cool. I told you it was easy. There is so many powerful tools available to OBS live streamers by the community, and they're totally free. So we definitely have a lot to be thankful for. Is there something that you want to know about alert systems that I didn't answer in this video? Well, let me know down below in the comments. And if you want me to show you about a plugin that can add these sorts of alerts directly into OBS and uses Streamlabs, check this video out. And if you're always looking for tools, tips, and tricks to help make you a better live streamer or YouTuber, subscribe to the channel. My name is Michael Feyrer Jr. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.